The heated war. It all started with a simple idea: heated driveway. I live in a cul-de-sac where the winters are less of a season and more of an endurance trial. Snow piles high, the roads become icy gauntlets, and my front lawn? A tundra. Every morning was a test of balance and sanity. Like Olympic curling but with a Subaru and no medals. After too many seasons of slipping, sliding, and praying my tailbone survived another driveway descent, I decided enough was enough. I drew up plans, filed the necessary paperwork with the city, got my permits, and even scheduled a contractor. That's when Meredith noticed. Now, I had lived in this HOA-run neighborhood for nearly 6 years without so much as a lawn citation. Not one violation. Not one complaint. But Meredith, who had unofficially appointed herself as the community's architectural compliance czar, took one glance at my plans and decided they were a threat to what she lovingly called the spirit of communal design harmony. Her words, not mine. She showed up on my doorstep with a latte in one hand and a manila folder in the other, her eyes scanning my blueprint like it was a manifesto. You know, heated driveways aren't listed in the HOA guidelines, she said, her lipstick-stained teeth barely moving as her voice dripped with smugness. I explained calmly that the city approved everything. There were no HOA rules specifically prohibiting it. It was a hydronic system, eco-friendly, and buried beneath concrete. Not some flaming monstrosity spewing heat like a villain's lair. But Meredith didn't care. It wasn't about the logic. It was about the control. She brought it up at the next HOA meeting. Showed up with a presentation, yes, color slides and everything. Warned of thermal sinkholes and the slow death of suburban character. She claimed my system could melt the underground ecosystem and destabilize the street's integrity. I wish I were making that up. 2 board members were confused. Both of them had solar panels installed without fuss. But Meredith was persuasive. She spun tales of apocalyptic asphalt futures and got people spooked. Soon, she was knocking on doors with petitions titled The Asphalt Apocalypse. She camped out by the grocery store handing out flyers with my address on them. She claimed I was gentrifying snow, and somehow a few neighbors believed her. The board tabled my approval pending further community input. My contractor backed out, worried about HOA drama. And then the twist came. A week later, Meredith submitted plans for her own heated driveway. Same specs. Same contractor. Identical energy efficiency notes word for word. The only difference? She called hers a winter safety system for elder residents. The board approved it in under 24 hours. When I confronted her politely asking how hers was acceptable and mine wasn't, she responded, "Some of us know how to present things properly. You can't just force innovation on a neighborhood." I was stunned. Not just by the theft but by the shamelessness. She began construction within the week. The neighbors who once feared my plan now brought her cookies. She held a ribbon-cutting ceremony. There was champagne. She even invited the board to take the inaugural non-slip stroll, like it was a grand opening of a luxury spa. I watched from across the street, shovel in hand, while she paraded across her new concrete runway. But I wasn't going to let it slide. If Meredith wanted a war over 32 feet of heated concrete, she was going to get one. And I had no idea just how deep her HOA empire of nonsense went. The driveway wasn't the end. It was the opening act. Next came a note about my garbage bins being the wrong shade of green. Forest green, apparently, clashed with our seasonal palette. Then a $50 fine for putting up holiday lights before December. Then $75 for leaning a shovel on the porch during a snow event. Each citation came from Meredith, now chair of the freshly invented Neighborhood Visual Standards Task Force. A title as fake as her compassion, but the fines were real. She started a weekly newsletter, Winter Watch, ranking homes on snow removal. My home, of course, always ranked dead last. Hers always led. She even gave out Snow Angel Compliance Awards. I overheard her at the cafe once saying, "You give some people heated concrete, and they think they're above the law." The irony nearly made me choke on my espresso. Turns out her brother-in-law Gary sat on the HOA board. Coincidence? Nope. Turns out Meredith had been reshaping HOA policy midwinter, adding clauses about 2/3 neighborhood approval for driveway modifications and banning unsanctioned snow melt systems. Then she started calling my unheated driveway a threat to children. Said I was psychologically distressing kids by robbing them of snow angels. But the final straw? A $250 fine for a slippery walkway. One day without salt because the store was out, and suddenly she was threatening me with civil liability for endangering the community. That's when I realized she wasn't just annoying, she was trying to force me out. Neighbors started whispering about obscure fines, doubled penalties, and shady rule changes. So, I started documenting everything. Emails, letters, Zoom meetings. I even installed a ring cam. And that's when it all got wild. One night at 11:17 p.m., the camera caught Meredith on my driveway. Not inspecting, measuring, with a digital protractor, wearing night vision goggles. I couldn't make this up. That video was gold. Turns out she'd been sneaking around other houses to trespassing to verify snow consistency. But karma's a cold one. Just as she tried to push through a motion declaring my walkway a winter hazard zone, her own driveway started acting up. One of the buried tubes ruptured. The system began leaking. I knew from a chatty HVAC tech who thought her install was the dumbest job he'd ever done. So I waited. The first sign? Steam rising from her gutter. It smelled like burnt plastic and wet carpet. Then came the geyser, a full-on burst of hot, murky water erupting from the corner of her driveway. It streamed down the street, freezing overnight. Took out 3 recycling bins, a mailbox, and Mrs. Daly's ceramic garden gnome. Someone taped a sign to the HOA mailbox, warning, Meredith's water slide ahead. Teenagers skated down it. One dressed as Poseidon yelled, release the floodgates. Then the real damage began. Water flooded the Bailey's basement. The Johnsons' nursery got soaked. Their newborn had to be relocated. The city came. Meredith tried charming inspectors with gluten-free muffins. It didn't work. They found out she used indoor-grade tubing. Her contractor had warned her. She ignored him. No shut-off valve. No pressure relief. Her system burst and it wouldn't stop. The city began digging. Flags. Spray paint. Inspectors. Neighbors asked, who approved this? That's when the fraud surfaced. She'd forged HOA approval. Photoshopped signatures from a landscaping initiative onto her own application. I found out when Gary accidentally forwarded the wrong PDF. We called an emergency meeting. Meredith claimed her dog ate her laptop charger. Seriously. But the board wasn't buying it. Evidence projected. Metadata exposed. The room fell silent until Mrs. Daly stood up and said, you're full of it, Meredith. Then Sam, a former city planner, dropped the hammer. The contractor she used? Unlicensed. Lost his license 5 years ago. Meredith knew. She emailed him praising his flexibility with paperwork. Then came the kicker. Meredith had created a shell company, Suburban Harmony Advisor, and billed the HOA $14,000 for consulting fees. She paid herself. The treasurer perked up. Are those the same admin charges from the pet waste indexing project? Suddenly, everything unraveled. She was under investigation for fraud. Civil suits followed. Her driveway was shut down. She was banned from all HOA rolls. Neighbors rejoiced. The city issued fines. $12,000 for unlicensed work. The HOA filed claims for the stolen money. Veronica, the HOA's new lawyer, didn't play around. The best part? Her own pipes froze solid. Burst again. 3:12 a.m. Steam everywhere. Geysers shot 5 feet in the air. Her front lawn looked like a scene from a horror movie. Her basement flooded. Heating shorted out. The fridge died. Cleanup crews came in hazmat suits. A Facebook live stream titled Meredith's Ice Age. Day 1 went viral. She tried to rebrand. Launched a blog. Meredith's Corner. Claimed she was a misunderstood visionary. No one bought it. Instead, the HOA threw the first annual Frozen Follies Awards. The top prize? The Meredith-painted snow shovel honoring unintended comedy and community flooding. It was left on her porch in a gift bag with salt packets and caution tape. She took it. Quietly. Later, someone updated the street sign with a decal, caution, unstable ground and homeowner ahead. Contractors now use her address as a training case for what not to do. Her home? Unsellable. She tried renting. Failed. Eventually sold for $90,000 below market. The new owners raised chickens. Meredith would have hated it. The HOA changed. Transparency. No more rogue committees. No more fake task forces. We updated the handbook. Added a glossary. Meredith clause, policy ensuring no one weaponizes HOA rules for personal vendettas. See also, driveway disasters, thermal fraud. And yes, I finally got my heated driveway. Approved. Legal. Quiet. When storms hit, I sip my coffee and watch neighbors walk past my clear, warm path. One guy said, "Guess we should have listened to you instead of Elsa over there." I laughed. Because we survived her. Together. The frost lifted. Literally and figuratively. And the only ice we worry about now? It's in our margaritas.